Um, this is more of a response to somebody that I listen to um, who isn't feeling all that well right now. So I thought I'd make a short little video that might relieve the sickness that's going on, that you're experiencing. Now, I've made a few videos about the painful experience I'm having this week, and I've been saying over and over again that your illness is not really real. It's just sort of a wake up call. It's a direction. It's a warning sign. It's saying, stop, pay attention. Generally, when I notice, and this is not really the ethical way of doing it because I'm going to give you my interpretations of it, and you really should look at it from yourself. But all I'm looking at is some of the words that I see you using, and the words that you're using is sort of giving me enough information to kind of see what it is that you're going through right now. So it sounded like your head is stuffed up and there's a lot of pressure. I could be wrong. I might have misread, but the gist is the same. Is how do you describe? Put the descriptive words of what's going on. And then if my words are correct, if I'm remembering right, correct the wording so it fits your description and not my description of what I remember, because it would be my perception and it should be your perspective of it. But if you're using the words, my head is stuffed up, lots of pressure, then what is your head stuffed up with? Do you feel pressure? So in order to get rid of that, get rid of the stuff that's in your head, that's stuffed up. Your head is stuffed up with something. So what is that something? You know, what's going on? What are you talking about? What are you thinking about? What's in your head right now? All of that stuff is putting a hell of a lot of pressure on you. So it'll feel a lot of pressure. So to relieve that, it's like, okay, you may be thinking about all the things you don't want to think about. You may be thinking about all of the things that keep you in fear and stressed and, all of those things. And it's like, is that a solution for you? What is it that you ultimately want? Could it be a conspiracy? And, I mean, hell, the only reason I got to where I am is because a lot of hell happened and a lot of corruption within the court systems and the government systems, the medical systems. Conspiracy, trust me, it really seems that it was well planned out, not only to do to me, but to the population of the masses. So it created illness that I had to heal in the same process. And what we perceive as a conspiracy may not be so much of as a conspiracy, but an unfolding of everything that is wrong, and wrong within the minds of some other people, but also wrong in the minds of the people that are experiencing it. I had to change my mind too. I was focused in rage and anger and had to try and, get people to change, which caused me a lot of stress. And then when I use this process, it's like, oh, I got to change my world. That's my mission. That's what I'm here on the planet for, is to create global peace. Well, if that ain't going to cause a lot of pressure, So it's like, okay, when I look at the pressure of that, it's like, okay, how can I do that and not be pressured? And then the answer came to me that just change your world in your own mind. And then it unfolded a lot of rules that I live by. I'm living by a lot of socially accepted rules that I just got to say, no, I'm not going to live by those rules anymore. I'm going to start listening to self and change myself, change the rules of the land in my body and in my mind, and live by a totally different rule. I had to change global peace if I looked at my body, my as my world. And as soon as I changed my world, because we're all globally connected, it can't help but influence everybody else. But the outside world will influence me. The outside world has a whole pile of laws and rules. It's society's laws and rules that I have to go against. Now, I may come up with a rule that says it's really, really hard to go against social rules, but then it's like, that was another rule that it's like, no, does it have to be hard? And it's like, no, I can have fun with it. I can play with it. You know, like, analyze your internal world. And as soon as you do that, you'll start to gain a different understanding. So that's only my experience, and I find that it's healed me up. My shoulders, elbows, and wrists were all deteriorating. I'm on a long-term disability right now because all of the medical world, all of the social world out there says that I'm permanently ill and there's no cure to it. So they're going to give me a paycheck for the rest of my life. So it's like, I decided not to work within the social structure and constantly do damage, that conspiracy, to others, because I know that conspiracy, I played a role in that. I sustained it. I supported it by agreeing to the laws of the land that says we should destroy each other. So in doing my own rules, I have zero pain. The more calm, the more relaxed, the more I'm loving my own game, the more I'm loving my internal world, the more I'm creating inner peace, seems to be affecting the rest of the world. You know, it's not a global thing yet, but it's not my business. As long as I don't put that pressure on myself that everybody else's internal world is my business, the less pressure I have on myself. It's like welcoming everybody else to their own world and looking at you. It's better for me to say, I see your potential. I see you have some massive things to offer. Just jump out of the fight and get into the love of it. And the more that you can look after your own health, the more you're on this road that says you're on the right path, you're on the right path. As soon as you get a headache or you get a flu or you get a cold, that's the time to go back into self, because that's your stop sign that says, stop, you're on the wrong path, you're going the wrong way. So if you're going to see, as our globe sort of collapses, global collapse is about to happen. It's going to create an awful lot of stress on just about everybody. This will increase a lot of health issues. A lot of people, more people are going to die just simply because of the health issues. A lot of people might kill themselves because of the pain of, I can't believe you would do that. A lot of people will die of heart attacks because their heart will be broken because, I can't believe you do that to me. A lot of people will get heart problems because they're breaking their own hearts by not loving their own bodies enough. A lot of people will get cancer by believing in somebody else's rules that will pollute their own world. There's so many ways that we create illnesses that aren't necessarily from outside sources, but they're from internal sources, because you're not living by the rules you want to live in. So it's like, create your own world. Another example of this, like I do this with my daughter all the time. Anytime she gets a flu or a cold or something, I'm like, okay, what's going on with you? And usually it's, she needs to pamper herself. She needs to look after herself. She's stressing out about something. And as soon as I pay attention to that, as soon as I say, hey, you know what? That's what you're doing. And she's like, okay. So she gives herself permission to have a day off. And usually, you know, some of us just need a day off from the daily stress. And in order to do that, you physically have to get ill. So society will say, oh, okay, that's the only way you're justified into having a day off. That's the only time you're able to pamper yourself, is when you're actually physically ill. So just take a day off and say, you know what? I need a day off from all of this stress. and then enjoy your life. Enjoy the time you take off, and but usually you'll enjoy just lying in bed and doing nothing because that's what you really want. Another time she had appendix, and I really don't believe in medical world. They'll give you a pill. So we used a lot more homeopathic type things, like if she's missing some minerals or something like that, and that tends to get it cleaned up. But this one time, just a few months ago, this was not going away. So, and then we ended up in the hospital because they were diagnosing her as an appendix, and she was about to get an operation, and I'm like, okay, what's really going on with you right now? And I noticed her first reaction was as she's trying to phone family. Our family is not really communicating that effectively. We've gone through hell, and we've sort of disconnected from each other right now. Kind of talking about that a few times, but it's really important to her to be at one with her family. But because she lives with me, and a lot of people judge me to be that crazy person, they judge her to be, heavily influenced, and she needs lots of counseling, and she needs lots of help because she's getting bad influence from me, type of thing. So she's really hurt by that judgment of her, and she really wants family back. So she's getting her appendix. There's poison inside of her that's about to erupt. And what that poison is that her disconnection from family. And that was her way of trying to connect with family. And that was the first thing she did, was got on the phone and tried to connect with family. Well, family didn't show up at the hospital or even make a phone call or even give a shit whether she lived or died. And so she kind of got her answer that, okay, family's not really there for me. And as soon as she sort of realized that and decided not to put pressure, or just decided to be, okay, that's the way it is for now, nothing much I can do about it. But all of a sudden, her appendix, there was no need for an operation. The pain went away. We kind of had our own loving moment and said, you know what, we can be here for each other, and let everybody be where they need to be for now, and let's just focus on making our own lives happy. And what is it that you love? And all of a sudden, everything in her life started working out. She ended up finding a really great boyfriend that it healed her body just by recognizing what was going on in her mind at the time and what was creating the illness. And it's the wildest thing, but it really does heal. So what pressure is in your head, and how strongly do you want it to be there? You kind of want to make a shift globally, so look at your global body and listen to what it's trying to tell you. Listen to the roadmaps that say, no, don't do that. Listen to yourself. What does it want? It will want something. Use your intuition. Get yourself into a really loving, peaceful state of being, and then talk with this illness and say, what do you want? And it will tell you. And it may be, treat it like one of your kids. If your kids had a problem and it came back with this message that you get, try and understand it, and try, what would you teach your child? Because sometimes your children, the first thing, it'll say something it doesn't really make any sense because it's somewhat immature. But you are the adult, you are the mature one, so try to reason and understand. But the goal is to give it what it wants, because it ultimately wants something. And when you give your illness, your headache, your pressure, what it is it ultimately wants, you'll find that it goes away. So don't listen to me of what I think it is, because you are on your own path, and I don't want to stop you on that path. If you need to keep fighting for this, everybody's got to know about this conspiracy, and we got to be aware of all of that stuff. How much do we really need to be aware of how, the world is crap. The whole world knows it's crap. We don't need to know the details of it. But can we jump into the solutions? What does a solution look like? Should you be putting more energy into, hey, this would solve everything? If you know what's wrong, that means that you know what's right, and maybe we should be focusing on all our communications about what is right versus everything that's wrong. We already know it's wrong. How long? 20 years? Do we have to talk about all the things that's wrong? How do we jump into the shift? Be the change. Just an idea. Peace out.